all do the same. We wanna feel ya in every way. Don't even wonder, it's just a game. We're rocking body to body, let's go.
Hey guys, so this is my very first blog or beauty blog on my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to finally start this YouTube channel. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I was a makeup artist for years, and even now, you know, I use the Younique products and just a makeup junkie in general, and so I wanted to start video blogging simply because I get a lot of people that ask, you know, what are you doing? What kind of makeup are you using? What are you using on your skin? And so I think I have a decent amount of knowledge to share, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get started with this channel. So today I'm basically doing a day-to-day tutorial on what kind of makeup I'm wearing. It's a Saturday. We are going to church right now. We have a little couples retreat thing going on this weekend, and so I wanted to flip on the camera and get started. So bear with me. This is my first time ever making a video about how I do my makeup. It's kind of awkward to look in the mirror and talk to the camera and all that fun stuff. So hopefully you enjoy, and I'm looking forward to seeing much more of you guys. I will post below in the comment section basically most of the tools that I'm using and the colors in case you want to go out and get something for yourself, and links to those as well. So hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. Bye! Okay, here we go. So today I am going to start off by priming my skin. I love the Benefit Pore-fessional primer. I've been using that sample like crazy lately, and I like it because it just does a great job of prepping my skin, filling in any pores, fine lines, wrinkles, and it sets a nice base for my foundation to wear pretty much all day long. So I like the Pore-fessional from Benefit. I just spread it all over my skin. I have this huge creature on my head. I'm sorry, don't ask. So this is the Bobbie Brown Corrector in Porcelain Bisque. I use this with just a basic synthetic concealer brush. I use it underneath of my eye area, and I put a pretty hefty amount. I love this corrector. It cuts any dark circles. For anyone who struggles with darkness there, I love it. I've been using it for years. I like the really light corrector because it helps to brighten my under eye, and it's great for highlighting. And so I just use that to cover up any irregularities, broken capillaries around my nose area. And then I go in next with my foundation. This is the Makeup Forever HD foundation. I am obsessed with this foundation. It's incredible. It's lightweight. I use a mineral brush. It's actually a mineral brush from Sephora. I'll post it on the link below. But I use this all over. It spreads the foundation on. I use it in kind of small circles, and you don't need a lot of product with this. The HD Makeup Forever, it spreads, it's wearable and long-lasting. So I use it on pretty much all over my area, all over the face. I go in around the neckline and just really blend and buff that in. Notice I haven't touched my concealer yet. I like to give it a minute on my skin so that it kind of warms up, and it allows me to prep before I go in with my second concealer that I use. Next, I go in with the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. This is an NW20. I love this concealer. I use it with my finger. A small amount goes a really long way, but this is a really nice concealer. It has a crease-proof technology in it. I use it on my eyelids to prime. I use it underneath of my or I should say on top of my Bobbie Brown concealer, and just basically I get that concealer everywhere. I use my fingertip because it blends in really easily, and I don't really think you need a specific tool for this. You can use your hands. Once I've got that product on, I'll go over my nose area, Cupid's bow, a little bit on my chin if I want to, just to highlight, because I'm going to set that with a setting powder, and it's great to cover up acne as well. I use it clearly in this moment. But it's a good concealer. It's really long wearing, and honestly, if I set it with a powder, I'm great. Next, I go in with my sponge. I love this beauty blender. I've been using it for about a month now. It is dampened, so I kind of squeeze the water out first, and then I dampen that beauty blender, and I use it on all those areas that just need to buff in your product. It's great so that it doesn't crease wear. It just picks up extra. I never feel like I'm cakey. I'm using the Sigma Tapered Kabuki brush and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. I just got this, so this is my first time testing it out. I'm using the center shade in yellow to just set my highlight. I do that on my under eye area, my nose, my Cupid's bow, just to get some powder there. I get a little oily through the day, and my work day lasts, you know, at least 10 to 12 hours, so I want my makeup to stay, and so I always use a setting powder to do so. I go back over my skin with the MAC Studio Fix and just a basic fluffy brush for powder. It's great to set the makeup, and it kind of sets a nice base for bronzer and blush afterwards. So I'm going to powder my skin after my foundation and before I go in with my bronzer. Next, I'm taking a darker shade from the contour kit with my flat top Becca Kabuki brush. I bought this brush a while back, and honestly, for the price, I mean, I'm not that impressed, but I do like it to stick on bronzer very quickly. It's kind of big and fluffy. I go in the corners and just use it as a contour. I use it around my hairline. This is not my blush. I use it as just kind of a preparatory to give me a little bit of color and to buff in my makeup, but I will go back over this with the blush in just a minute. So I get around my hairline, I go around the neck. I always put bronzer on my neckline just so that way there's no harsh lines, there's no transition. It doesn't look like you can see, you know, where my foundation stops and starts. And then after that's said and done, I'm going to go back in clearly and bronze some more. Okay, so once that's done, I take one of my little Sigma brushes. I love this new one. It's great for kind of defining, and I put a little bit of that contour color on the brush, and I use it just on the sides of my nose. It's a great way to shape your nose, to just give a little bit more dimension. So I go on either side, very soft-handed. There's not a lot of product here. Just a little bit on the tip of my nose, and then there in the middle just to divide it out. And if you want your lips to look fuller, you can add a little bit of this underneath of your lip line. I like it for bronzer, just for dimension and color. Then I go in with my blush. This is MAC Blush All Day. I've been using this for a while, clearly. I use a fluffy blush brush for that from Lancome. And I go, basically I sweep downward and towards the back of my hairline. I like a blush that's complementary to my bronzer, but a little bit pinker. So I think for just day to day, this is a perfect color for a lot of skin tones, and it layers really nicely. So once I'm done adding that on, you know, I always like to put a little bit more in the morning because it lasts me longer throughout the day. But then I'll go in and I'll actually use this Bobbie Brown. It's a Peony blush from Bobbie Brown. It looks really bright, but I like to use it just on the apple of my cheek to complement, and it does pull your face forward and just give you a little extra brightness there without looking like cloud cheeks. Okay, so this Hourglass palette is everything. I got it from Sephora, and it's the illuminating palette. I love it for highlighting. I'm going in with another Sigma brush, and it's one of the tapered kabuki brushes, and I use it on my nose, my cupid's bow, and on the bone underneath, you know, the top of my cheekbone, just to give it some light and highlight. I've been really into highlighting lately. I think it's very complimentary, and it just breaks up the flatness of my powder and blushes. So I'll zoom it in, you can really see it gives a lot of sheen there and looks really natural. So once I'm done highlighting, I then go in and fill in my brows. I'm using an Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Taupe. I just bought this. I really like it. I like that it has the little spoolie on the end so that I can brush my brows up and shape them and kind of keep them clean, and I'm very soft-handed with this. I have a lot of brow to begin with, fortunately, so I don't like to go heavy-handed, but I do like to fill in, especially towards the end of my brows, just to extend it. So I'm kind of speeding this video up for you guys. You get the point. I mean, you can see it just buffs in really nicely. I like this brow pencil because you can kind of control how heavy-handed or how light-handed you want to be with it. So I'm going to just finish cleaning up my brows here with a few more brush strokes, and then after that I like to go in with a little bit more concealer. This is a different concealer. It's from MAC. I'll post it below. I use the same concealer brush, but I just do it right underneath of my eyebrow to define a little bit further and really help, and it'll really help clean up any missteps if you've got some brush strokes there that you want to cover up. So I'll finish concealing underneath of my eyebrow, and then I'll go into the next step. Okay, now moving on to finally my eyeshadow. Whoop whoop! So I'm excited because I'm doing something kind of easy and simple I think most people can use day to day. I have 4 brushes that I'm using, and I'm starting off with this Mabeline eyeshadow. It's called Earthly Taupe. I really like this. It's cheap drugstore. It's easy to blend. It's like a pinkish color. It's got a lot of nude to it, so it's a great transition color. I put it on a fluffy brush, and I just go right into my crease. Very soft-handed. It's always easier to add more shadow later than to try to take it off if you get too much on your eyelid. So I'm going in with that eyeshadow first to get the base, and then I'm using a Makeup Forever eyeshadow as a highlight on a smaller brush. I'm going to go right in the corner of my eye and highlight there in the corners and underneath of my eyebrow to just catch a little bit more color, and then right on the bottom part of my lid. So I think the point of that highlight is just to catch some brightness in the corner of my eyes. I really like to open up the eye, and so the lighter shadow in the inner corner and then following with a darker shadow on the outer corner, it's going to make your eyes look a little wider, a little more awake. I was so sleepy filming this, so please excuse my red eyes, but I promise it balances out in the end. I think those two colors are a great base for anyone. I mean, you can use browns, you can use purples, you can use dark black if you wanted, but I'm going in with more of a purpley tone and another fluffy brush. It's from Sigma. I'll post it below. It's great for blending. I've got that MAC purple color. I think it's Starlight Violet, and I'm using it on the outer corner. I do start really lightly dusting it across the outer corner of my lower lid, and then I bring it up into the crease, working upward. I think it's easier that way, and it just avoids me looking like I've got raccoon eyes. So I'll go ahead and just blend that dusted in. I barely have product here at this point. I'm just using it to build. So I'll take just one dab into my, into my shadow, and then I'll go back in with that fluffy brush and just add a little more color, building dimension and darkness until I get to the depth that I'd like. Once I have that color on, I do usually go back in with my Mabeline Earthly Taupe and just use it once more to buff those two colors together. That way it looks very smooth. As long as you blend like that, you'll never look streaky or awkward. It looks really natural and kind of gradient. And then I use my highlighting color once more. This one actually is MAC Nylon. I like it for up underneath of the brow bone just to give a little more accent. And sometimes I'll just touch over in the inner corners, just depending on how much drama I want on my shadow that day. So after I'm done with all of that, I go in with soft brown. This is also a matte color, and I use a very small pencil brush. This one's from NARS. The pencil brush is great for underneath of my eyes. I don't like to use just a black eyeliner underneath. I think it looks really sharp. So I like to start with a soft shadow. It blends, and then when I do want to go in with my darker eyeliner, I just think it looks more natural. So I go in with that pencil brush and soft brown underneath of my eyes, and then I go in with the same soft brown on a MAC T25 brush, I believe is the brush that I'm using. It's really fluffy. It has a little bit more orange to it, so I think it breaks up all that pink that I was using and the plums. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go in with my eyeliner. I'm using Bobbie Brown Charcoal with a flat brush eyeliner. I wet my brush very lightly, and I go in first and just line my eyes. And then I use a MAC gel liner, and I use that for tight lining. I go right underneath of my eye line there in the waterline up on the top of my eyes, not on the bottom. And then I'm done. Next, you know what's up. Younique 3D Fiber Lashes. So this is the two-part kit, the transplanting gel and the natural lash fibers. First, I'm going to go in with Urban Decay Perversion Mascara just as a base. And I'm going to do a first coat on my eyelashes. It's a great way to get it to hold and to prevent fallout. Once I've got a good amount of that on my eyelash base, then I can go in with the transplanting gel. So you'll see here, the transplanting gel is the first part of the Younique 3D Fiber Lashes. I'm going to do a pretty generous coat of that. The transplanting gel is basically their version of mascara. So it allows for you to get a nice base coat before you're going in with the lash fibers, which is what's going to really give you the drama and the length. You'll see here next is the actual fibers. I'm going to show it up for you, and you can see they're kind of fuzzy. If you zoom in close, you'll see they are natural lash fibers. They layer on really easily. So I'm awkward. I like to blink my mascara on. I'm sorry if that freaks you out, but I sped it up, hopefully to help with that. So once I've got a good amount of those natural lash fibers on, it lengthens, it gives the fullness, and definitely the drama. I'm going to do one more top coat of the transplanting gel. If you do not put this top coat on, I promise you, you will get fallout and not like me. So make sure you go in once more with the transplanting gel. And that's it again. So just right on the top. I then do just one final bottom coat. For my bottom lashes, I use the Definicils. Or whatever's close. I mean, I'm all up for suggestions on a bottom lash mascara. You can probably use the one that you're using day to day, but because my lashes are really thin and very blonde, especially on the bottom, I like a very short and flat brush for that. So after I'm done here with the Younique, you'll actually see me go in with the Definicils. There it is. Oh, it's so cute. So there's the Definicils, and so I'm just going to do one more coat of that on the bottom lash, and basically I wiggle back and forth just to give myself that in between. You know, if you have light lashes, that's a great way to get every lash coated, so that you don't see any of those little blonde ones sticking out. Once I'm done with that, I'll go in on my other side, do the exact same thing. I'm going to just stay quiet and show you that so you can see. Big comparison though. I'm a huge fan of this stuff. If you're interested in Younique, you can definitely click the link below. But I've been selling it since August, and it really is my favorite mascara. I do not bother with false lashes. On my day-to-day, I just think that's overkill. So this is a great way for somebody who likes a full makeup look, or for someone who just wants, you know, that kind of option for girls' night out or for a wedding to give yourself a little more drama and give yourself a little more fullness. So I think that just about sums it up. I will go back and throw on some lip gloss, but on my day-to-day, I'm not getting crazy with my lips. It's just not my thing. So hopefully you've enjoyed, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to talk to you guys later. Bye.